Hello, 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 viewers. How we doing today? I trust we are all blessed and highly favored. It's your boy Ademola Ajayi, and I'm here with my wonderful, amazing co-host today, Modupe and Adebola. How you ladies, beautiful ladies? How you guys doing? I love the attire. You guys are looking amazing. What's going on, ladies?
Thank you, sir. I am
Thank you,
blessed
thank
and
you, thank you.
highly favored.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, our viewers, it's another excellent day. We're here with you. This is the podcast, our podcast, The Wealth Bridge, where we're connecting all our immigrants, our, people in the diaspora. We're bringing everyone and we're bringing value, to you all. Today, we're also going to be talking about a topic that we most often overlook. And today we're going to be really, discussing an issue that, often goes unspoken, especially in the immigrant community and, and the as diasporan as well. The connection between, money and mental health. This is something we don't often talk about. And we've seen too many cases whereby people just drop dead just in the name of I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to put food on the table. So many people, carry the pressure of supporting the family members back home, paying bills, building, wealth, raising children, and trying to succeed in a new country. While financial success is very well celebrated, the emotional cost is often eaten. So today, you know, I have my awesome ladies that are going to be doing justice to this topic, and we're going to explore, how anxiety, shame, you know, comparison,
Hmm,
financial pressure can affect our mental health,
correct.
and practical steps that we can take to
Hmm.
build financial and emotional resilience. So my first question will be going to my awesome Modupe. I love the white with the orange. Wow, looking nice. All right.
Let's
She's
go. Let's go, brother. Let's
Let's
go,
go.
brother.
So my first question to you, and I hope our viewers, you're all locked in. Let's be locked in because today is something that really would resonate with almost
Hmm.
everyone. And I want us to be thinking as we're talking about this topic. I want you to also start to look at it yourself, examine yourself, look at your own picture. What am I doing? Is my my mental health, is it stable? Am I doing beyond what I need? What's the balance? How do I balance this? So,
Hmm.
Modupe, my first question to you, would be, why is mental health rarely discussed alongside money in many immigrant communities?
Thank you very much for that question. And to be honest, we are not being oblivion of the fact that we have quite a few people out there who are going through, a particular mental state or the other. The goal is not to shame, but the goal is to create awareness. And I think there are several reasons why a whole lot of the immigrant diaspora community will really discuss mental health. I'm open. I'm open. I don't have the data. I'm open, and that maybe the statistics would have changed. Given the kind of awareness that's been out there. What we are doing today is just to also add our own thoughts, to this conversation. And I think there are several reasons why, this immigrant community, diaspora communities will shy away from it. One of the reasons will be that many immigrants grew up in an environment where survival, is like, that's it. Survival comes first before every other thing. So I'm saying, let me bring it down to our level listener. So I'm saying, oh, there's food on the table. Children have been able to go to school. The bills are being paid. So we're not like out there in the rain or in the snow. People assume everything is okay. Okay. But are we checking in on one another? Right? No one
Mhm.
is asking, are you feeling emotionally drained? So the focus was simply, let's just keep pushing it through. As long as we can get by the day, we'll go to the next day. You know how we say, take a day at a time, just keep going, going, going. And another thing I see is that many cultures, right, unintentionally, they equate emotional struggle with weakness.
Mhm.
So since that's become, it's like, okay, you're calling me out as being weak. If I come out there and I tell you, there are certain challenges when it comes to mental. So you're expected to be strong, pretty much. Man up, man up, man up, woman up, woman up, woman up. Strong for your spouse. You have to be strong for your children, strong for the relatives back home, strong for your community. So many people all of a sudden become experts at hiding things. Did you see that? So instead of me sharing and telling you this is what I'm going through, right? While quietly, trying to find solution, they just now become an expert in hiding it quietly, carrying enormous burdens. And I think the third one is what I would say is right. There's a lot of pressure of success. So when someone relocates abroad, and this is the reality of it, everyone assumes you've made it, Adebola.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, Adebola. They're like, shoo, you got a visa?
Yeah.
Seriously? You crossed the border? Shoo, you have money planted at your backyard. Now, family members don't see rising housing costs,
Hmm.
the childcare expenses that I have to drop that child at the daycare, taxes, or they don't see a lot of debt that you probably have to now deal with, or the loneliness that sometimes come with starting all over again, because now you're left a familiar terrain to a new terrain. So you've got time to acclimatize. So instead, these people see opportunity. They are seeing opportunity for you. You see that? So many immigrants silently just carry the financial pressure. They man up, they hold on to it, it builds pressure that is not seen, quietly derailing and messing up with the mental health.
Hmm.
Because again, they don't want to be, seen as weak, neither do they want to disappoint anyone.
Hmm.
And finally, many people separate finances from emotional health. Don't do that. It is when you are sane, you are healed, that you can go out there to get the money. But they are deeply connected people, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about this on this podcast. So financial stress can lead to anxiety, and anxiety begin to affect. I've seen a lot of immigrants that they tell me I cannot sleep. So if you're out there and you can quickly sleep, like just close your eyes and you sleep, that's a blessing, no?
Hmm.
It's a blessing. There are a lot of our brothers and sisters out there that they are sincerely desiring to sleep, but because again their mental health has been messed up.
Yeah.
Anxiety affects sleep. Poor sleep now affect your decision making. Poor decision making affect your finance. They're all
Hmm.
interrelated, my brother and my sister. It's a
Yeah.
cycle. It's a cycle. I'll keep short at this junction and throw it back to you.
Awesome.
Really?
Awesome. Awesome.
Really?
You definitely took a good stab at it. I definitely love how you broke it and tore it into pieces. But
Thank you, sir.
this, you said something that is very important, and they often call this thing called suffering and smiling.
Mm,
Mhm.
you
that's
know, you internalize everything, you bottle everything up, and not letting people know what's really going on. And
mm,
before you know, we hear somebody just had a stroke. We hear somebody
obviously.
just had a heart attack,
Mm,
just because of some of all these things. The pressure is just too much. And
mhm,
you started with something which is important. You talked about anxiety, and how anxiety spirals out into so many other things. So I'm going to ask Adebola this question. So Adebola, how do you think anxiety, shame,
mm,
compare, the comparison effect,
mm.
how does it affect our financial decisions, you know
Thank you, Ademola. And I mean, this topic, at first I was, okay, mental health, like, is this something that I really want to talk about? But I'm seeing that it's quite important because we see a lot of the effect in our community.
Okay.
And like you said, people just bottle everything in, and nobody wants to tell anybody what's going on. But talking about anxiety, talking about shame, comparison, which is, that last one is even something that is all over the place now. Social media is making it a real problem. Like everybody's trying to compare themselves to what somebody else is achieving, not knowing what people are doing or what really is happening on the other side, on the other end. Uh, I would say that you know, this can really like quietly control the financial decision of anyone, even when someone knows what they are, I mean, what they should do. You know, when we
Mm,
talk anxiety is, it's like the need to feel safe. You
mm,
feel, and financial anxiety can make people do things that, like Modupe started off with, things that you wouldn't want to do. Rush into financial decisions, make the wrong decision because you're anxious, you are fearful, you are afraid that you don't want to do something wrong. Oh, let me just go with this thing. Anything that comes may be ready to just take it up. Become overly restrictive and feel guilty about every expense. That's another thing. And some carry this from a long time, like let me say, and they don't even know that it's been there. And then
mm,
you start to manifest that when you are in in a situation whereby things are just so tight, so hard for you. You're working, you're
mm,
stressing out, and things are not working the way you want it to be. And also talking about shame. Oh my, that's very common.
yeah.
Like people want to show off, feel, act like act what they are not. Let me put it that way. And this is sometimes because of shame. You don't want to be left behind. You don't want people to think you are not up to par like your mates are or like other people are. And then you hide things. You hide your debts. You even delay getting help. You're not getting the help that you're supposed to get because you feel that ashamed that, oh, you don't want this person to know that you are going through this particular thing. So money shame can lead to a lot of things. You believe that you don't even deserve wealth, that it's not for you. You believe, oh, that's uh you know uh looking for money or even working for money, it's something that is sinful sometimes. That's some of the things that are common in our own community. You may think, oh, I'll just manage what I have and just keep suffering where I
mm,
am. And you also avoid asking people questions because they fear uh, people will judge them and all that.
mm.
And the other one I already talked about, the comparison. Give it to social media to help you to destroy some
To blow it out of proportion.
manifest in that, yeah, in that area.
Mm,
It has really intensified the comparison thing. Everybody compare, oh, this person is doing well, why am I not doing well? We're in the same country, we're in the same career, we're in the same community, and this, so what's going on? And you want to do what somebody else is doing. All these things, they at the end of the day affect our mental health if we're not in the right place, if we're not
mm,
focused, and if we're not thinking properly, and
mm,
or if we allow other things to determine or to dictate our behaviors, then there's a problem. The problem is looming. I'm going to stop there.
Wow. I mean, thank you so much, Adebola. For our viewers, if you're just tuning in, we're just having this conversation, when it comes to about money and our mental health and how this is affecting us in, our immigrant and diaspora communities. And, these are some of the things that we don't talk a lot about. And this is why
mm,
this conversation is so, so highly important. And like
mm,
Modupe said, this is not to shame anyone, it's not to, but don't put yourself in an unnecessary pressure
mm,
just because you want to be like the Joneses, they say, right?
mm,
Don't just put yourself in something that it's not there. So because of our time, I just throw this next question to Modupe.
mhm.
How do you think most of our families out there can build emotional and financial safety into their financial plans? How can they incorporate this emotional and financial safety? you know
Thank you, Demola. I love the question because, contrary to people's opinion, true wealth isn't just about you accumulating money.
mm,
I mean, to say, well, I have, oh, yeah, I have 20 sources of income. I have these sources of income. Mm-mm. That doesn't define true wealth by itself. So it's about you creating peace. When peace like a river attained our soul, the songwriter says, right? And so one of the eldest financial conversation a family can have isn't how much money do we have? It's actually how are we doing? So I think we need to step back. Daddy, mommy in the house, who are what? The breadwinners of the home. Because I know gone are the days we just leave the breadwinning game now to the daddy or just to the mommy. It's a collective effort. Daddy is helping mommy, mommy is helping daddy. So that we don't end up having one person stroke out. Because now the whole burden is on them. Are we asking the questions? Are we asking a significant order? How are we doing? It's not about how much money do we have. So families should intentionally create a regular money conversation without blame. Every single person has a minimum an Android phone or an iPhone. The last time I checked, those phones, those devices have something called calendar.
Hmm.
Schedule it in every quarter. Let's have a money conversation. Daddy, mommy sitting down. It's not a matter of, hey, I don't have the time. Mommy is saying, I don't have the time. Daddy is saying, I don't have the time. You will have the time when the time comes. You don't want to wait to that time, though, which is why we're having this conversation. It's not a conversation of argument. It's not an accusation. It's like, let's look at the picture and see. I'm telling you, these conversations go a long way.
Yeah.
What if I'm no longer here? Can daddy take over? What if I'm no longer here? Can mommy take over? Honest conversation, Demola. Just honest conversation. Oh, I've been spendthrift. Oh, I've just been so casual with my spending. Where are we spent? Where are the money go? What are the outlets we have? What am I worried about? What are the goals that excite us as a family? What are we worried about? Where do we need help? We need to start speaking to a tax strategist. We need a financial professional on our side. These are conversations that reduce fear. What you know will not kill you. I know some people say what you know will kill you. Take it to the lawyer. What you know will not kill. Now you know how to plan better because uncertainty is often more stressful than reality. Okay? So if we know this is what we have, now let's know how we can build together. Another important step is, and I'll say that and shut up, is building emergency savings. Emergency funds don't just protect your finances. They help in the days of unforeseen contingencies, knocking at the door when you least expect it. You don't need it. They protect your mental health. They protect our mental health.
Yeah.
When unexpected things just comes knocking and, showing up, you are like, uncle, I didn't call you. Why are you here? And the roof or the clinic is, I did not call you. You don't immediately panic because now you've been prepared for it. And I see many of us are so, engrossed with, let me just get the money. I'm working. What do you mean? So daddy is having this conversation. Mommy is having this conversation. So either of the parties is just like trying to, throw tantrum and say, I'm busy. I'm doing this. But to be honest, there are certain conversations we need to have so that we can help to bridge the gap in the event it should happen. Nobody is saying it's going to happen. We're saying if it happens, we want to have done our due diligence and outsource that responsibility to someone else. So we don't immediately panic because now we are prepared. That is what I call emotional security, Demola. And every one of us needs to have that. We cannot overemphasize this. This channel, this podcast is all about financial literacy, education, awareness. What can our immigrant family do with this information so that they can be better structured, prepared, and not become the victim in the system and this environment we find ourselves? Insurance is going to play a major role. Let's let out the cat out of the bag here. Deal with the elephant in the room. Disability protection, do you have one in place? Health insurance, do you have one in place? This is not a matter of procrastination. There aren't just simply your financial tools, but they are immediate financial product that we can start using. They promise that our family will not be faced with a crisis alone.
Yes.
That's all it's about. We are not going to be alone when this thing comes, when push comes to shove. We have it at the beck and call so that we can use it. We've talked about living trust on this channel, on this podcast. How many of us have taken that responsibility to say, let me sit down with a financial professional, an estate planning strategist. There are quite a few out there. Every single one of us here are also one of them. We are bringing this information out there so that somebody can be informed. Beneficiary designations. People change beneficiary or probably even leave their beneficiary. I've seen cases, weird cases, Demola. Somebody has their, I don't know, their fiancé that they never became a husband with, their name on the beneficiary or whatever. And then this person finally passed on.
Oh my God.
That is a chaos right there. Your immediate family are already crying and wailing because they lost you. Now they have to deal with this. What are we doing now that will give us peace now? Not just now, but peace later on when we even transition. Very important. Let's leave clarity and not confusion.
Wow.
Hey, brother.
Wow. That is definitely loaded. I mean, definitely food for thought, reason for us to, really, search our inner soul and think deep. You said something which is very profound. You said wealth is not just measured in just asset and cash alone.
Mm-mm.
There's another aspect, that a very, very profound financial educator talks about, and he talks about the cash, the dimensional wealth, as in KASH. It talks about knowledge,
Mhm,
attitude, skills, and habits.
mhm,
How we bring in these things, these are also part of wealth building, because we normally just often think about wealth in just assets or just monetary part. But
mhm,
we've seen that even when a family has the monetary part of it, the asset part of it, once the right knowledge is not put in place, the right attitudes are not set in place, the right skills and habits are not formed, all the wealth becomes
Yep.
you just squander those things,
It can
those.
be, it can disappear in just
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah, it can disappear in just one generation. So this is very, very important as we definitely delve into this. So at Devil, I know a lot of families, they struggle with how to balance helping family back home. you know we are more focused on the diasporan community, the immigrant community. So that's what we're about. If you're listening and you're on this, you're tuning in and you hear us talk about the diaspora and the immigrant family, that's what we do on this podcast. We're trying to bridge that wealth gap. That's the essence of what we're doing. So Adebola, how can someone balance helping family back home without creating a financial burnout?
All right, thank you, Ademola. And I believe we've talked about this,
In
uh,
previous episode.
previously some in some
Mhm,
of our episodes
Yeah.
about helping families back home. You know, helping families back home should be part of a financial plan. It shouldn't be like an emergency that controls every paycheck. That
mm,
every paycheck something must come. No, it should be part of a financial plan. Generosity should never destroy your own financial stability. The fact
Wow.
that you're
Well,
helping
okay.
people back home, yeah, shouldn't mean that no, you have to kill yourself. You have to create a monthly budget that goes into that, and try as much as possible to be consistent with that, with
mm.
whatever you have budgeted for that,
That
for helping
season.
families back home.
Mm,
Okay, treat family support as a plan, playing part of and just like housing, just like transportation, just like your retirement, just like childcare, make sure that you make provision. Separate emergencies from ongoing expenses. That's also very important. Not every request is an emergency.
mm,
You should be okay to say no sometimes, and there'll
Yeah.
be times that you say, "Well, I wish I could help more, but this is what I can do at this time." That's it. When you set healthy boundaries, you're actually taking care of both your finances and your mental well-being. So you have to set healthy boundaries. You have to make sure that your no is your no. When you can help, you can help. When you can't, don't let people like guilt or shame you into doing,
Guilty pew.
you know, you know, into doing beyond your means. I've, like I said, separate your emergencies from ongoing expenses. give from what you have. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Don't go into debt because you need to help somebody. It's so, why would you want to go? You didn't go into debt for yourself. It is when something is needed that you now bring out credit cards or you go and take a debt. You know, avoid using credit cards or personal loans and things like that. Your retirement funds, to help to send money back home and all that. You are destroying your own financial future. The wealth that you are building is being destroyed. You have to make sure that you come first, because if you are no more, there's no way you can help the family. If you don't have a job, if you don't have anything to fall back on, how can you even help family?
Mm.
Helpful rule is that do not destroy your own financial stability to prove your love. Protect your own household first.
Wow.
Set clear expectations before sending money. Make sure your basic responsibilities are covered, your monthly bills, your emergency, retirement contribution, your children, and your household needs. These are important because you have to save yourself, because you can before you can save somebody that is drowning, and
Yeah.
that's very important. A lot we've made mistakes in this area, but
Mm.
we're learning now. And when you learn something, when you have an understanding of how to, the knowledge, you don't go back to the mistake of the past. Okay, you don't. You can even create a family support fund if that's the case, if it comes to that. But make sure that you take care of yourself. It's very important. Take care of yourself. Take care of it. Don't worry about disappointing people. They'll be disappointed, and it will come and it will go.
Yeah. Like they say, everybody will be all right
Everybody,
last last.
exactly. I can't come and kill myself.
I can't come again.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow,
Oh,
I
thank
come
you.
and kill myself.
Thank you so much, Ademola. And I think this question I'm about to throw to Modupe is so important. In our community, we normally don't seek professional help. We see it
mm.
almost as a taboo. So when should someone seek professional help for financial stress or emotional, struggles? When should they?
Like yesterday.
Like right away, when
I'm just being honest, like yesterday. Even the professionals have their professionals. You get it?
Yep.
You see?
yeah.
So earlier than most people think, we need to start reaching out for help. Many people wait until they are overwhelmed. Okay. And at that point in time, it's like, well, we'll have to just deal with, one thing after the other. But you don't need to wait until the house is on fire before buying smoke detectors. Do you agree?
Oh
So the
my
same principle applies here. I just want to make sure it's relatable. And so you're now like, okay, so the fire has actually occurred. Then you now go and buy smoke detector. Uncle, auntie, the deed is already done. So if you're constantly losing sleep, over money, or if you avoid paying bills, or financial conversations always end in argument, my uncle, my auntie, I'm looking at you. They're always throwing tantrum when mommy says something. That is already being defensive. And then, auntie, you're already being defensive when daddy is saying something. You need to seek help. If anxiety is affecting your work, you're scared, you're just overly, overwhelmed. If you're making impulsive financial decisions because of stress, then those are the signs it's time to seek help.
God.
Seek help. There are reasons why these professionals are out there for a reason. Now, you might even seek help, mental health, specialist. If you think, he's already getting to that anxiety, you know, level. None of us here have the badge of that. So don't come for us for mental health conversations. But if it comes to money conversation, we will be happy to have you as our guest. And seeking help isn't failure, people. That's one of the things people run away from. I'm going to quickly wrap up so I can throw it back to you. It is not failure. It's not a sign. It is wisdom, actually. So
Yes.
sometimes you need a financial professional. It could be a therapist, it could be a counselor. Sometimes it's both. Many problems and emotional struggles often overlap. And so addressing one without the other is like, tishen kankan. You get it? So for my immigrant families especially, there's another layer. Many people carry guilt.
Mm.
Guilt about not sending enough money home. Deborah was talking about all of things. Guilt about saying no. Some people are even checking you on all devices and calling you out. And I remember that my mommy is the one that can call your school fees when you're back home in Guinea. And so it's a lot of guilt and this emotional burden that we carry. And many people don't have that experience. You know what? Congratulations to you if you don't. But healthy boundaries are not selfish. Deborah talked about it. And one thing I'll remind our client is financial planning is about more than numbers, helping people sleep better. What keeps you awake at night? If there's something that keeps you awake at night, you need to seek help. You need to seek help. Back to you, sir.
Thank you so much, man. I wish we had more time, but I'm believing and I know for a fact that, my awesome, awesome co-hosts, they have done justice to this topic. So I want to thank you, Adebola. I want to thank you, Modupe. And I want to leave this with our viewers, this
Mm,
last takeaway for us to just understand. Money is an important tool, but it should never come at the expense of your mental health.
mm,
Financial freedom isn't just about having more income, it's about having peace, healthy relationships, and a plan that protects your future. I want us to understand that a healthy mind makes better financial decisions, and a sound financial plan creates greater peace of mind. When we care for both, we build stronger families, stronger communities, and a lasting legacy for the next generation.
mm.
Until next time,
Okay, then.
share, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next time, the same hour, next Saturday on the Well Bridge. God bless you. Thank you, Adebola, again, and thank you, Modupe,
Thank you,
everyone.
Ademola.
God
Thank you,
bless.
sir. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.